In this video, I'm going to show you the only utility that actually matters at high level CS on Mirage. I'll show you what to throw, when to throw it, and why it will win you rounds. So, master these pieces of utility and you'll be dominating Mirage like a pro. Let's start with T side and taking control of mid. The first set of smokes we want for mid are phase 1, so establishing presence. This involves the window smoke and the top mid smoke. The first thing you want to learn is the window smokes. So these are the instant smokes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They are the back smokes that align with this, or these back corners. For this smoke here, you're going to come in this corner and you're just going to W jump throw while staring at the corner of this pit. W jump throw. This smoke here is lining up with the bottom of this railing here. W jump throw. This smoke here is with the second one down. W jump throw. With this corner one here, this bit here, we see the white here, W jump throw. And this one here, a little bit harder. You kind of see there's like a mark here. Again, W jump throw. To aid this, the second smoke you want to throw lands top mid. So to do that, you get in the right hand side of the trash can. Once you're aimed at the end of the antenna, just left click throw. Now that you've done the top mid smoke, if the CTs decide to blow open the window smoke to peek into mid, you can still cross the boxes safely. The other smoke you can throw for here is the con smoke. So to do that, you line up with just the first step here and just jump throw. This lands in con and allows you to get aggressive towards short or close con if you feel so. The only thing I would say is if you are getting aggressive short, do not spam the smoke. That leaves you a sitting duck. Leave it and play for short. With those smokes, the first player into mid should flash into valley. Like so. And the second player will want to flash over boxes. The reason for that is the first player can get out as that pops, and then the second flash will not blind anybody getting aggressive. If you want to throw a molly as well, I wouldn't recommend throwing a molly towards con, because most of the time a CT will smoke this. What you might want to do instead is bounce a molly off this wall here. This will molly under, which means that the CTs cannot peek into it. And just a couple of pro tips from me. If you are an A player that tends to play towards palace or ramp, I'd recommend they either drop the smoke for the person doing the insta or do one of the smokes themselves. And if you're not planning a fast round, only do 2 of the 3 smokes and save your smokes for phase 2. Phase 2 is about applying pressure in mid. So at this point, you probably have a player behind boxes, you might have a player towards underpass, and you might have a player in valley. So once you have this, the setup is simple. A window smoke as the other one is disappearing. So aim with this, run forward, and just left click throw. Gives you a nice smoke there. Now you want to smoke top con. Some people like to do it from here. So you just bounce it off this wall here, like so. But I would recommend doing it from underpass. The reason for this is you are more covered rather than in the open in valley. This one's simple as well. Just here, run forward and just left click throw. Same as before. With this, you want to molly short. So simply just pop a molly as you will. Just force the rifler back. And if you want, you can also pair it with a ladder molly. So if there's no smoke, just simply aim here. But if the smoke is up, come to the corner of this bench, aim with this black dot, move over and just left click. This pops the top and the bottom and forces any player out into short. And a pro tip here, if you've got to this point where you've applied phase 2 smokes and you've applied the pressure, do not hesitate. You do not want to be stuck in no man's land with the smokes disappearing. Make a decision quick. And the default decision is an A split. So molly short and fight for the A split together. And now talking about an A hit or an A execute, the idea of a good execute is you want to isolate the players on the site. What you want to do is get a teammate to drop a smoke for you here so that you are ready to do both smokes. So the first smoke, you aim with the black dot here, left and right click, jump throw. The second smoke, this little brick here, and just left click throw. This smokes jungle and stairs. And in a normal execute, that is enough. You can add a CT smoke if you would like, which you can do from here. Go to the corner here, jump throw, but it boxes you in. So what I would suggest is just stick to these 2. Now, you could be wondering about the CT player. Well, the way to get rid of that is to have this player flash above Palace. So come back, aim with this, just jump through. That puts a flash nice and high and forces the CT player back. The other flash you or your teammates might want to throw is to come into this part of the doorway here, aim at the top of the lamp, it's called lamp flash, and just pop it here. What it will do is it will blind anybody close and will not blind your entries. If you are in Palace, you might want to help out. So line up here on this pillar, aim just slightly down, run forward and throw. This throws a molly into under balcony, forcing the player out into the fight. Once you have done the molly and no one has forced the fight, you can follow up with a flash. That again pops down here, blinding anybody default. And then as the Palace player, it's your job to clear top balcony and be ready to assist on the site. Now, if you're doing an A split and you're in Palace, a molly that Youngstar suggests from Heroic is to molly Tetris. And that forces any CT player being a nuisance over here. And now that you have sight, do not overcomplicate it. You only need one area when you have A. It's either CT or it's jungle. Pick one, communicate it, and play for the space as a team. What I would recommend if you're doing an A execute is take CT. However, if you do an A split, take jungle and play for jungle. And for those rare B executes, make sure you have this right, or your B hits will look like a bull in a china shop. First, we want to smoke market window. So with this line here, find this black dot and jump through. You want to pair this with the smoke just off the side here with just a left click. This smokes market and smokes deep short with the second. This doesn't allow any rotator to help, and this smoke cuts off any short player that's gone aggressive mid. And as we talked about before, that isolates the B anchor. Now, paired with this, the flashes you want to throw are these. You want your first flash, or high flash as I call them, to go the left side of this building. So jump throw with running forward. The reason you do it left on the first one is because it comes out and blinds anyone close. However, you don't want this to be the second one, as you don't want to blind your teammates. So for the second one, you want to come and flash the right hand side. That pops over the building and doesn't blind your entries. And for the entries that are running in, the flashes you want to throw are these. You might want the first or second player to flash like this. Come across here, aim with this side of the wall, run forward and left click throw. The reason you want to do that is it bounces into sight. You can adjust this slightly yourself for how far you want to run forward and how much it will pop down. But don't get it wrong, otherwise you'll be doing this and flashing your whole team. The first or second player might want to do this flash here. And the reason for that is it doesn't blind you as you jump down. So pathing is you want to come up here, flash, jump down and take the fight across here. With this area smoked, you want your pathing to be towards sight. So you're clearing here and then clearing towards back sight. However, remember on a B execute, keep it simple because you don't want to be blinding your teammates. And now for mollies, you want to keep it simple as well. So you might want to bounce a molly off the back wall here and force any B anchor or player that is close and stops that awkward downward fight. The second molly that might want to be thrown is towards bench. So come across and just aim in the middle of this window and run forward. This will bounce and clear off bench. And if you're feeling confident and you're one of the last players, you can even molly backside. So to do this, what you want to do is you want to come out, see the corner of this window and just left click throw. This will bounce off the wall and molly this back corner. And again, my pro tip for the B hit is don't overcomplicate it. If you can keep control of short and apps, you have the round. B is a very hard site to retake, so don't overpeak and don't give away easy kills. If you are looking for a place where all these lineups are stored without having to bounce across different browser tabs, then you are in luck. Metastack is an all-in-one CS2 workplace for lineups and more, and it can be useful for anyone, whether you're a pro team like Astralis or 3D Max, or you're a solo queue grinder. Metastack is trying to build this database out as well. So if you feel like there's a smoke, a flash or a Molotov missing, please don't hesitate to create your own. Metastack also has an area for your playbook, so with your team, and even lets you look through each map so you can understand the callouts. So if you haven't already, make sure you click the link in the description and join MetaStack today. Now, back to the video. Now, as a window player, you might get smoked off window a lot. So if you've got an AWP or you're just feeling confident with the rifle, you can just nade. Go onto this part of the wall, aim high, right click, and then jump onto the panel here. This blows up the smoke and gives you full vision. The second thing you might want to do is you might want to molly top boxes. But if you're smoked off, you won't be able to see. So to do this, if you're smoked off, come into the corner here, line up with this white dot here, and just run forward and throw. This will molly behind the boxes and prevent the T's from getting that sort of space and establishing presence. If you're a con player, you might want to know how to smoke out con. The default one is to come here, line up with the bottom of this brim, and just left click throw. This blooms nicely so that you can come out and fight underpass and gives you a lot of space to play around. However, as the con player, you might want to do this with speed. So what I do is I line with the top of this bit here, left and right click and throw as I'm going forward. Wait a second for it to pop, come out and fight for under. And then you can have that room again. As the A player or con player, whoever has the first spawn, you will want to be mollying ramp. You want to be running up here, get yourself aligned with this. And as you hit the edge here, try and aim for this sort of bit of wood here. Then you just want to run forward and left click throw. The reason you want to do this is so that one, it pops nicely here. But the second thing is as it pops, which if I just do rethrow, the big part of the molly goes up here and you can't see if anyone's crossing. Then the second player or the A anchor wants to flash into mid. So what I do is I usually aim between the two trees and just run forward and just left click, jump throw. This pops nicely between the two trees and won't blind your teammates running out for the fight. And as an A anchor, you might still have a smoke. If you're playing CT, the default is to usually do this if pressured. However, you might want to smoke ramp. So to do this, come here, aim between these two chimneys, pillars, and just smoke here. This pops nicely on ramp. As the short player, you only need to know how to flash for yourself. So simply, as you're running up, aim roughly here and just jump throw. That will pop nicely in mid and give you some space to breathe. You might also want to molly under, which I usually line up with this dot here, run throw, that pops nice and deep, and pair it with a nade after the molly's gone to get some nice damage. As the B anchor, you want to know this set. So molly like this to get a deep molly so that you can hear a tick, and you can even pair it with a nade as it clears. Then it's your job to stay alive, and you might want to just drop a smoke here if pushed. That way you can play around it and live a bit longer. Those are the essential smokes for Mirage, or at least that's what I believe. I think you can get to level 10 and above with just knowing those simple nades. But if there's anything you think I missed, please let me know in the comments and tell me which map you might want to see next. Also, if you're like me and you quite often forget the lineups or just want a refresher, do check out MetaStack. So I'll put a link below for my referral code, and they have a whole database of the lineups that you will need. And thanks for watching. YouTube believes this video is something you'll enjoy, and I'll see you next week. Peace.